Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey. I'm the Resolves, and this is Manus's Mask of Torment. So the plan this weekend was to play the LUK version of the deck, but with that being a little bit greedy and playing Aid of the Hero, I thought I'd pick this version up instead because it looks a lot smoother and it does have a lot of similarities with perhaps a Fel control sort of deck. So this deck is built around a card called Mask of Torment. And this is actually pretty nice in a control deck with a bunch of card draw, as the additional power really helps you to do something with those extra cards that you've drawn. Also, don't need to go too big on the actual huge payoffs for the Mask of Torment as well, because the Tormentor is payoff enough as a huge 8/8 flying charge overwhelm unit that even if your opponent kills it, it's still going to add you value, because if your opponent does kill the Tormentor, you do get to produce a Spitling at the start of your turn. Now what Spitling does is it's got an Entomb effect where it's going to deal 1 damage to the enemy player. So this is a bit of a nightmare for time-based decks that don't have any flyers, or even armory decks have a bit of a rough time trying to get through this one. Of course, we've also still got the spicy combo of the Devoted Theurge, which works really well with the Mask of Torment, as if your opponent isn't able to answer the Devoted Theurge, over the couple of turns you're able to get really high on power. And when your deck's full of cards like Wisdom of the Elders and Strategize, then you can really make the most of that extra power. Manus was playing 4 feeding times, but I thought that perhaps Argent Pot is a little bit too much over the place, so I do want to play some In Cold Bloods as well, though. Feeding time is actually still pretty excellent as it deals with Dawnwalkers or any nonsense your opponents are trying to scream back. Okay, so that was the intro. I'm sure Manus explained every single card a lot better than I will, but I just want to get onto the games because this deck looks sweet and I just want to get playing. Okay, I'm on the play here, and this power's not looking great. Fence is a nice redraw here. This isn't much better, but if we find like a Primal source, or just as long as we keep hitting our powers with this, like a Crest would be ideal. And if this is straight with counter hit, then perhaps the original hand was a little bit better. And Temple Scribe is going to be fine. It's basically the same as bottom in it, but we get to gain a life and have a body in play. So we do lose a little bit of value on this Amber Waystone. And there we go. If we get a power, this Mask of Torment will be perfect. As we'll play Mask into the Devoted Theurge, and as long as our influence holds up, then we should have no trouble with being able to curve out here. Now, if we don't draw a power pool, it's going to banish this. Yep. So let's just banish this now. If your opponent's playing with Soul of Descent, then they're up to something. Let's just chuck in for 1. We do leave ourselves a little bit open to Whirling Duo, but I'm open to that being a possibility. Valkyrie Force is fine, and having our Temple Scribe silenced isn't the end of the world here. But I will strategize. I just really want to find this power. Could probably afford to just chuck the feeding time. So we do have an answer for the Valkyrie here because we've got the Lightning Strike and another Strategize. I think we'll have time for this later. Our next 2 turns are basically just going to be Mask of Torment and then Devoted Theurge. Our opponent goes hand plus like a huge weapon on the Valkyrie here, then we can still just banish it. And Harrow of Might, giving our opponent a 6/6, is probably enough to prompt us getting rid of this. We can be greedy and strategize, try and hit a power, but I think that that's not what I want to do here. Just remove our opponent's threat. This could be like a Finest Hour or a Torch, but that's not the worst thing. And I think again we should be keeping Temple Scribe back, especially if we've just got like a buffed Whirling Duo here. But I'm not going to sit back forever. Right. Here we go. There's the Mask of Torment. And next turn we should have a bunch of power. I am curious here because I know that all the damage done by the Black Sky Harbinger now is simultaneous. So you know, if your opponent's got like a board full of grenades or something, you're not just going to gain infinite power. But I'm curious if the enemy and opponent is considered as 2 different triggers. So we'll be getting in here. Looks like our opponent could play carry if they had it, but I'm pretty sure if they did have it, then they would have played it. And I think we can strategize here. And I'll probably should just get rid of the lightning strike here. And the Psych Power is basically the same thing. And next turn, if our opponent doesn't deal with our original Theurge, I think our opponent's going to go for the Activate. And we're a little bit away from being able to play the Channel Tempest, so perhaps that there was a mistake where we didn't actually just take the Seek Power to grab a Primal source. But this is the first game of the deck, and that's something that you should perhaps do. Pretty confident that whatever my opponents hit the Warcries on, if they've not played it here, is probably going to be a weapon here. Although it looks like perhaps they've just drawn a reactive hand. So just a classic getting in there with the old 1-1. And I think I might protect the Theurge here, and we'll just play the Black Sky Harbinger. Put us up to 10 power, and then next turn we can play plus activate the Theurge. Because we have 4 to play it, and then there's 6 to gain it. And also, this here sucks a little bit, but we are just going to annihilate this. So fine if our opponent had like a protect there. And there we go. A little bit closer to the Channel Tempest here. So you can see how the Theurge really goes off with the Mask of Torment, as we've already gained +6 power off it. And I'm enjoying how aggressive this deck is looking like it can be. Looks like it can really turn the corner just with some huge Theurges here. Okay, so we're on the play here, and we've got quite a dirty hand here, but the Crest with the Sig Power means that our influence is going to be pretty set up. We've got a little bit of interaction here with the Banish and Lightning Strike, and we've got 2 card draw spells. So I'm pretty much in for this. Doesn't really matter what our opponent's on here, I'm just going to be seeking for power. I am also quite greedy and really want this Wisdom of the Elders. So I suppose we're keeping it. Uh-oh, an Echo spell. Okay, so this is probably like a Shadow Roaches deck. Or maybe that was actually a Find the Way there. So, got pretty much everything, but I do want the Primal source. I'm pretty sure the only other double we need in the deck is actually the Time source. Okay, so we've got a bit of a spicy meatball from the opponent here. But we are just going to be playing some Wisdom of the Elders over the next couple of turns. And if our opponent is playing Crown, then at least we've got the answer for it with Banish. This could be a new spicy version of perhaps a Roaches deck here. Well, a Xenan Killer's deck. And more power is good. We've got all this card draw, so we'll be keeping that. And then reasonable happy just to take 2 here. Just draw some more cards. Crown of Possibilities, we will probably be banishing that next turn. So I'm not going to banish it yet. Draw some cards. Then next turn will be at 5, so we'll be able to Temple Scribe plus Banish. Being able to remove this is pretty nice. Our opponent's perhaps also got access to Banish, so maybe our Mask of Torment here are not going to be long for this world. Taking these original couple of beats from our opponent here with the Clockroaches, mostly fine because we've just got loads of ways of being able to deal with it. And there we go. Our opponent's got another crown. So if they had 2 crowns going, we'd have been in real trouble. But we do have opportunities here just to be able to find out what's going on. I think right here, I'd like to get this Amber Waystone going next turn just to get a little bit extra power. But let's chuck the Sea of Mystery down and hope our opponent doesn't get to go too ham with the Crown of Possibilities. But we're definitely having a bit of a meme off here. Sadly, in our colour combination, we don't really have any sort of board wipes that we're able to rely on. But fortunately, now does our opponent. So we're just going to go ham for power here. We've got some reasonable blocks there. I'm probably just going to block the Temple Scribe on the free one just so I don't take another free. This dies at the end of the turn. And some of the perhaps our opponent's got like a Virus Favor or something. But I'm pretty sure that they've not got anything too spicy like a Hate Cleaver that I need to worry about. Although Lightning Storm or Hailstorm would be pretty rough for us, as we have just played out two of our Devoted Theurges and they're pretty powerful. Okay, so I could have played on the Hailstorm, but we've got enough power here that whatever we draw with the Wisdom of the Elders should perhaps be pretty good for us here. I suppose we don't really need the Hailstorm because our opponent's Clockwork is going to be too big here anyway. So I'll just keep strategizing, keep trying to find a little bit of something. Channel Tempest is excellent. I don't really need the Primal Sigil anymore. Let's get our Scout on. Let's bomb that Hailstorm. Then hopefully we're just able to chain some channels and go ham from there. Although I definitely should have thought a little bit more before perhaps playing out the second Theurge, or at least how I made those blocks. I suppose we'll just channel here. I'm going to guess that our opponent's not getting any actual counter spells in there. Let's have a bit of a Crest here. Blast Guy is great. And we get ever so closer just to be able to slam a Tormentor and just be able to chuck our opponent for 8. Okay, so our opponent's got the TikTok back. I was always curious to play with TikTok, but never really got around to doing too much with it. I suppose we'll just sort of channel again here. I'll just set up the second mask, and then we should be able to have, in the next couple of turns, we'll be able to just ultimate each mask separately, as well as being able to gain a bunch of life here soon. Sig Power, don't really need that, thank you. We could annihilate this and then just get him for 2. I think that's what we'll do here. Just get our opponent a little bit close to death, just because we know that we've got some 8-point fireballs right here. Really want to give our opponent the least amount of time possible. Killing one of our bigger Mask of Taunts, I'm guessing here. And that was pretty gross because that brings us really far back. But we've got a Face Aegis now. And a Black Sky in play. So we've managed to pull back on power a little bit. And I'm sort of reasonably happy just to take a free here. Just bring our opponent up in life a little bit. But I didn't really want to trade cards with that. Temple Scribe's nice here. Gives a little bit of power and a card. And opponents had enough, not quite sure why they were conceding there because they weren't quite dead, although we're getting ever closer to the Tormentor. Okay, well, sadly this is a redraw, though it does have the combo with the Devoted Theurge and the Mask of Torment. And I suppose this will just have to do, but it does have a reasonably okay power base, although we do need to find another Primal source. And if we're able to find one, then Mask into Black Sky could be pretty nice. Well, not super concerned with being our Sig power being sabotaged here, but I'd rather just get the unit power down first. And this could be Felner against. They're just leading with 2 crests. So I want the Primal Sigil down, but I suppose we're just playing the City Mystery first, sort of obfuscates what exactly we're playing at first. And keeps a Primal Sigil in hand anyway. Well, Scribe first case we find a Crest, is just going to be Primal Sigil here. Although next turn we have managed to set up a Mask of Torment. Diplomatic Seal tells me that we're definitely not playing against actual Feln. And I'm sort of okay with taking a turn off to play Mask of Torment. Perhaps our opponent gets prompted to play a couple more things to the board. Although we can't take infinite damage because we do have to be a little bit concerned about our opponent just having Haunting Scream for just 5 points of damage out of the Vicious Highwayman. Well, we could be super greedy and strategize into like a Primal source for the Hailstorm, but I don't think that's something we can do right now. I think we might just be feeding time in this just so that our opponent can't actually just get ahead of us with cards. And the feeding time that Manus were playing really showing what it can do there by just dealing with this. Although then we could draw the Inco Blood as well. So there's the Primal source we were looking for. But so I'm curious where we go to with power. Do we go to 10 or do we go to 9? Science, of course. Okay, so the entire thing was the effect. And I don't think I really need to use the Strategize yet. I like all the cards in my hand, they all sort of do something. If our opponent attacks, I think I'm not blocking. I don't really want to just get torched or something. What are we haunting back here? A Piggy? That's fine by me. I'm definitely not blocking there. Okay, so it's just a Combust. A nice play from the opponent there. Really using their cards properly. Okay, so we've got the Crest here as well. Well, the Channel of Tempest is what I'm really excited about. I'm not going to use their Hailstorm just because it looks like our opponent can actually go quite wide with assembly lines. We're just going to Inco Blood here. Which isn't the most exciting way to deal with a Vicious Highwayman. And I will actually play the power out. Don't think I want just a bunch of Hailstorms, because our opponent is also a Scream deck, and they can just not have any board on your turn as well. And that's a pretty huge Gorgon Fanatic there. And we go to... So we've got 5 cards in hand, so we do 7 damage with the Channel. But we do get completely owned by like a counterspell. But I'm pretty sure our opponents... Oh, we don't have the influence yet. We do 6 damage there. I had to play the power first. And I think now I'm sort of happy to be strategizing here. And I think the influence is pretty good for now, so we can just get rid of the Seek power and pass the turn. We've got a turn where our opponent could have just hit us there. But I think I'm just going to chuck out the Temple Scribe here. we'll be keeping that Wisdom of the Elders. That's a pretty nice one. So we're quite protected from the Gorgon Fanatic being screened back here because we do have the Banish. So give him the business for one here. Get him down to the princely sum of 35 there. There we go. To gain 2 power because we have the 2 masks in play. I'll just crest it up. Lightning Strike's pretty good against Scream, but not very good against a Screamed Gorgon Fanatic here. So I suppose we'll just bottom that. Although it would have been a nice trick to be able to Wisdom into it. Although with Banish and Annihilate, we should have most of our bases covered. It's very possible that we're able to tidy the game up and should be able to close it out pretty quickly here. I feel just bottom of the seat there, just keep a bunch of action in hand. Now we should be in good shape here because over the next couple of turns, as long as our opponent isn't able to interact with these Mask of Torments, so we'll let our opponent attack in here, but they will be getting lightning struck. Our Torment getting Maddest would be pretty gross for us. But they'll just play it off the bigger one just in case something does happen to it. We'll chuck the Seek out just for a little bit of the older deck fin in there, which is very important with a 40 card deck. We're still able to hold up the Banish and the Annihilate. This will be getting Annihilate here. Don't really want our guy getting devoured. They do get to hit us for a bit of damage here. And they get to game 4. But we also get to make another one of these Tormentors. Now just keep crunching in. I thought our opponent might have screamed up the actual 7/6 Gorgon Fanatic. And this is sort of what I was concerned about a little bit. But we do have an ever-present threat. And we get first crack for our Spikelings, as well as just having the Black Sky Harbinger here, just to be able to chip in for a few more points. Unfortunately, the Spikeling is going to be pretty good for our opponent as it turns on all of their like combusts. But we can also get to a point ourselves where we could just do like a lethal Hailstorm if we're able to accrue enough of these. Banish is fine. So I'm sort of tempted to use our In Cold Blood here on the 3/3 Grenadine, just to be able to push damage, and then over the next turn we should have lethal just for our Hailstorm. Holding the Banish, so I used the In Cold Blood just because it was a slow speed spell, and this will insulate us from any ripped Haunting Screams. So I think I'm sort of getting to grips with the deck now. Oh, this is a really smooth machine. Okay, and we could be a little bit too slow for this matchup here. But the influence is pretty nice. We've got 2 Crest and we're on the play. So don't keep this at home, kids. Oops, accidentally misclicked and I've kept the terrible hand. Wisdom of the Elders in. So as long as we don't see like an Oni run in here, then we're in okay shape. And a time deck, that's fine by me, friend. Let's have a Crest and see what's on top. Don't need that, we'll just search for it. I never know if Seek Power just takes like the top one or a random one. But I'm also never sure how he's supposed to be acting with the Crests and Seek Power as well. Like which one do you use first? Well, we're playing the Primal Sigil first just so that we can activate the Cobalt Waystone. But right here, it's unlikely we're going to be annihilating anything unless it's like a Relic Raider. But we're probably just going to be making a Wisdom of the Elders here. Okay, opponent's got a cheeky bit of spice here, just playing out the friendly wisp, just no fear. Also, opponent's like a monocoloured deck here. So what are we doing? I probably can play like a big threat and just draw 2 cards, but I think eventually we'll be able to outcard them anyway, just because we've got stuff like Wisdom of the Elders. And the 1/1 body's not really going to do anything against us. So we'll just play Time Sigil out and play out our threat. It's unlikely our opponent's going to be able to answer this turn, and we should be able to hold up the Annihilate at least, or the next couple of turns. So if our opponent tries to give this killer next turn, then it's not going to be too much of a problem for us. I think we'll just strategize first, and then we'll play the Crest and keep up the Annihilate in case that's what our opponent's up to. And we'll don't really need this seat. We've got no basic power in hand anyway. That's Crest. Lightning Strike's fine because our opponent does have ways to get killed in the deck and just ways of dealing with that. Even if it's after the fact, it's still fine. Okay, well, our opponent's not got anything to do, just block the 1/1 and we'll annihilate the huge 6/7. That could definitely be a mistake there, and I should be saving the Annihilate maybe for the Dawnwalker, especially as we could just in cold blood the 6/7. But we've also got the Lightning Strike, which gives us a little bit of a reprieve here, and we'll just be attacking for 4. And I'm pretty confident now that our opponent isn't playing Allegiance, so we don't have to be too concerned about Rain of Frogs or anything like that. I don't think we need infinite Lightning Strikes though. Just like the 1, if they go for the killer here, should be able to keep them nice and slow and unable to really get much value out of it. But I'm sort of happy just to trade off a 1/1 here. We do take some damage, but we are like a big gain life deck, and this is really going to be the problem. But we do get to Lightning Strike, and it's not perfect because it is a 2-for-1. And even a little bit worse for us because our opponent did get the Dawnwalker back as well. But we'll just play the Mask of Torment here, and we'll gain some life. All the sick players there gain a bunch of power. And we're taking a bit of a beating here, but we do have a bunch of big units as well that are just able to blank the Dawnwalker, so get like a Black Sky Harbinger, gets to wipe the board. And Feeding Time is the perfect answer to it as well. So good job, Manus. Showing us that it's not all about in cold blood here. And we'll just play the Seat of Mystery as well. We have the nice in cold blood here as well, so if there's a nice way of dealing with this Mystic Ascendant. As well as being able to keep up on cards because we do have the Wisdom of the Elders as well. I was a little bit concerned at first. I thought our opponent might be a Legion with like a bit of a rubbish draw. But definitely just a misplayed there. Could have gained a little bit extra life, but as we don't gain an additional trigger, it's not the end of the world. Okay, our opponent gets to gobble up our Black Sky Harbinger. And we don't have the hugest Channel Tempest here because it is just for 5 damage. But next turn we should be fine with that. I'm just going to play and activate this. And I am going to keep the card in hand. And that's a pretty nice play from our opponent. They get to make a 7-7 here. Even better. I think our opponent might be able to go over us there as well. Okay, so I need to think what we're doing here. We've got 6 damage from the channel, which is going to have to go over here. And then maybe with the 3 cards we find, we'll have to find an answer for this 9-9. And that's pretty nice. We get to deal with pretty much everything our opponent's up to. I'll just take a Primal, it's like whatever there, and Crest. I'm going to bomb that. I'm going to keep up the Annihilate here just to shoot down the Predatory Carnosaur. There's no real reason to wait on your opponent's turn, but they've got no real interaction that could deal with that anyway. And Sandstorm Tides are a pretty tedious card for to deal with, but I think it'll be Crest in here first. Black Sky's nice too. As this helps us get closer to just chucking out a Torment next turn. Even though the 4/5's not doing a great amount of work here, is keeping the 3/3 in check. So I'm happy to take 3 here. Hailstorm not the best. I don't really want to make a Torment just to chuck in, but we do get to get in for a damage. And if our opponent just makes the easy block of blocking the 8/8, then we do get to make Spitelings for the rest of the game, and Spitelings are going to be pretty good against Sandstorm Titan. So I think we'll just do that. Now the easy attack here is to play with attack with the 8/8 and the 1/1, but our opponent can just take 8 and then just block the 1/1 out. So I think I'm just going to attack with the 8/8. If they want to make the easy block, that's fine. We've got Spitelings, which basically answers most of our opponent's deck here, as we'll just be generating a 1/1 every time. We'll block the 8. And I suppose we could keep the feeding time in case our opponent's got another Mystic Ascendant, as I'm just going to be chump blocking with the 1/1 here. Now the Lead Magus is pretty much just as good for us right now, because we'll definitely be able to utilise any extra cards that we draw. Now this is sort of nice because now we get to get another one. So we can double Hailstorm, just deal with our opponent's board. Take a little cheeky point of damage from the Spiteling. And I suppose now's the time where we will actually just feeding time this. Although we could actually just kept the feeding time, because I'm a little bit concerned about a Mystic Ascendant. And Sea of Mystery can get on the bottom here. We'll just activate our other one of these. Now our opponent can trade here, or perhaps make an Obelisk and just gobble it, but then we'll be making 2 Spitelings a turn, and it'll just be really incredibly difficult for our opponent to ever get past us. Now when you're making 2 a turn that just ping your opponent whenever they die against a deck like this, then we can get to a point where we can just kill our opponent just by blocking with the Spitelings. Now Devoted Theurge is nicer, but just gets to draw cards with the Relic Raider. But we'll just be pinging them down here. This could probably be enough for our opponent when they're seeing how absurd this gets. They do get to use the killer here just to gobble up our devoted Theurge. But we've now got 32 power in play, so as soon as we draw like a channel, we should be able to play every card we've got. I think as our opponent doesn't have any way whatsoever with dealing with the void, or just like being able to play Crystallize, I think we'll just sort of sit here and be able to kill our opponent with these dopey little spitelings. I did actually play it towards the end of set 1, just running out of cards to play with. I played a Whispers of the Void deck. And the spitelings were really good against armory at the time. And we're nearly close to just being able to kill this Relic Raider as well. I'm not sure I really want to be doing any gang blocks here either quite yet. And we've got enough units now just to make some blocks and kill our opponent. I can't block with 7, so I suppose we'll just what? Yeah, block red one. And then we should be able to attack in, and our opponent won't be able to block. Well, they've seen the writing. Okay, and here we are for the last game. I'm a little bit underwhelmed by this hand with the quad time sources, channel Tempest, so I think it's going to be an easy redraw there. And this is a little bit more exciting as we do get to seek up a Primal source, and then the Strategize will be able to take us home. I'm not sure how the actual Oni Ronin matchup is, but fortunately we're not playing against one with the basic Justice Sigil on turn 1. Take out a Primal. Okay, so this is like Argent Paw. The Temple Scribe here is probably going to do a good job against this Crown Witch Paladin here. Although our opponent can chuck a weapon on it and turn it into a 5/4, which might maybe I'll just do block it with a Devoted Theurge. But I'm pretty sure that this deck's probably got an alright matchup against Argent Paw, as it's going quite big. It's got a bunch of card draw as well as a bunch of little idiots and removal spells. So our opponent agrees that they don't get to just slam into our Temple Scribe through, but perhaps going to try it next turn. I'd rather just get vanquished. I'm going to try and find a little something that's exciting here. And the Cobalt Waystone is probably reasonably good. But I think right now we will be bottoming the channel. Even though we do have the 4 Primal sources for it. I really just want to have a bunch of spells that we just play. Unseen Commando is absolutely gross. But I'm not jumping in, I'm just going to happily take my 6. And then if I do a Hailstorm, that would be pretty excellent. But pretty much just going to be banishing this dude. Then we get to play running Black Sky Harbingers against an opponent with some 2-1s in play. But I'm just going to keep threatening to block here. Blocking is one of my favourite things to do. And still not blocking here, but because, well, I am blocking. Still don't want to block here, but because we've got the line here of just like Harbinger into Harbinger, then I'm reasonably happy here. And I just want to just preserve our life total a little bit. Does look like our opponent's got a fast effect though. And actually on next turn, we can actually just play the Hailstorm. As this is going to pop a bunch of Aegises. It's going to gain us 2 life, which is nice enough. But if we draw an undepleted power, we get to play a Hailstorm and then a Devoted Theurge. That's going to be pretty nice. Our opponent does have a nice target here for any vanquishes or slays. Oh, nice. But they've got a huge Valkyrie Enforcer instead. But we've got a reasonable block here. So hopefully we can get a Finest Hour off our opponent here as well. That'd be pretty delicious. And there we go. Get the Finest Hour to trade with the Black Sky. So we're able to grind our opponent into just having a 7/7, which is admittedly quite a good threat to have against us. And there we go. Got the undepleted. So just consider here, we'll just like play the Black Sky Harbinger again, getting a bunch of life, and then next time if we really need to, we can make the Hailstorm play. Also not sure which is better here. Do we play Theurge and Hailstorm, or do we just play the Harbinger? And then just pop these things off. And I think it's probably, if we do Hailstorm, we'll get to make another threats, but we don't have to be worried about this Unseen Commando either. So I think we'll just do that. Ideally, we want to find some just answer to the 7/7. I'm sure a bunch in our deck. Of course, we've got a few less turns to answer it, and it didn't matter after all because the opponent's got the 6/3 there. So it looks like playing the Black Sky Harbinger would have been correct. Okay, so that was Manus's Mask of Torment. And this was definitely a spicy meatball, and I could see myself playing this seriously instead of it just being a bit of a meme deck. It did have a lot of the great finishes of a Final Control deck with cards like Black Sky Harbinger and Channel of Tempest, but it had a lot more little roadblocks and interactive spells like the Banishes and the Temple Scribes there, and the Devoted Theurge can really get you out of a pinch. I'm just glad that right now people are really trying to find homes for this card, the Mask of Torment, as even though it did recently get buffed just to be in a 4 cost, it's not really seeing a supreme amount of play on the ladder. Okay, so thanks for watching. Thanks to Manus for the list. I've been That Resolves, and this was a Mask of Torment.